We are continuing with this series of exploring the mind. Sometimes we wonder why emotions are so strong. Why do they just take over and control the mechanism of the body-mind complex? And usually in the society, we have this conditioning that there is a shame associated with having a reaction. And the popular belief is that reactions are bad. And yes, reactivity and reactions do create interpersonal problems. A reaction can cause great problem for oneself as well. But you see, it is important to understand where the reaction comes from. From my understanding, there is a buildup of tension in the body, which I call as the emotional charge. It's a stress. And sometimes, for reasons that are not clear to us, this charge builds up. It builds up and it creates a certain type of reaction in us. And it can be anything. The charge can come through an interaction with someone. Let's say you talk to someone and they mention something and it triggers. It can come through a memory of something in the past. Maybe you visit a place where you went as a child and you had some pleasant memories. And now that you don't live over there, it can bring up past memories. It can immediately bring up the charge. And the mind can come up with many reasons. The mind can say, oh, it's because you were attached to this place. And the traditional teachings say that attachment is bad. They say that attachment is the root of evil, and it is because you are attached that all these problems are happening. And if you detach, then everything will be solved. So they give detachment as a solution to attachment. Quote unquote, the problem of attachment. But it is impossible to fathom the innumerable variables in the environment that contribute to an action or a reaction. We can be with someone and something very minute can just irk them. And when we see the stress build up in another, our tendency is to be distant from them. And that's okay to a certain extent, because we don't want to absorb their charge. We don't want their psychological disturbance to create a havoc within our psychological system. But you see, sometimes there is no solution to this other than to let the charge pass through and dissolve. And there is no perfect teaching. There is no perfect philosophy that can teach you how to regulate emotionally. You can do all the work. You can listen to all the masters. You can listen to all the philosophical talks, read the scriptures, read all the books on emotions. But yet, at the time when something strikes and creates a stress within your system, there will be nothing to help you. There will be nothing that will dissolve that charge other than the awareness of it happening. The awareness by itself is very powerful, and it does not belong to either you or me. The awareness at some point will make the organism see that its reactions are futile, that all they are creating is disturbance within oneself and the other. And it is through that only that peace and calm will happen. Trying to pacify a reactive mind-body organism does not go well. It does not help. Because the charge is too powerful. Emotions are so powerful that the rational mind cannot come up with concepts to pacify it. We can keep repeating affirmations, but until they sink in deep and hit at the root of the unconscious, nothing ever is going to change. And that is why for majority of people, the change does not happen. They retain their reactive patterns. They keep moving with their reactivity, and they keep facing consequences. A point to remember here is that one cannot justify having a reaction by saying that, oh, it just happened because of circumstances that were not in my control. Therefore, I am entitled to react the way I want. For the simple reason that you may feel entitled to react the way you want, but then the corresponding consequences will also happen. Because this world, this life is transactional. And everything that is given will also be received. So if you give love, you will receive love. If you give hate, you will receive hate. If you are waiting for time to heal your charge, you are simply delaying your healing, because time has got nothing to do with it. And awareness that drops the emotional charge and brings the rational mind to the forefront does not operate in time. That awareness is independent of time. That awareness is now, here, now. It does not operate in time. That means it does not operate in the domain of thought and thinking. So you cannot drop your emotional charge by thinking. You cannot let go of it by thinking. You cannot let go of it by going to the masters and hoping that they will give you some knowledge that will drop the charge. It is your own awareness. It is the impersonal awareness that will bring about this revelation that it is a charge, it is a stress that has accumulated in the body. And sometimes, if it is the grace of God or source or universe, whatever you feel like you can call it, the awareness itself drops it. And sometimes there will be a reactivity that will proceed. Now that reactivity can have different forms. It can be acting cold. It can be completely withdrawing in one's own shell of safety net and thinking that nothing will harm or hurt. But you see, we don't operate in isolation. We on this planet Earth are interconnected with everything around. So if there is a charge inside, everything on the outside is going to irk us. Everything on the outside Even an ant crawling on the grass will irk, will create a charge, will hurt. And that is why we see some people hurting innocent animals, because everything irks them at that point. So, seeing this mechanism totally for what it is, that is wisdom that the sages talk about. Reactivity is ego. It is ego. The source of every reaction is the ego. But you see, when we employ ego, using the thinking to drop the charge, all that happens is that the charge even increases more. So, witnessing this whole mechanism, this whole movement of reactivity and one's own reactive patterns brings about an understanding. But it is not a function of time. It can be dropped in this moment, in this very moment, just by being here and now. There are many beautiful practices. There are many kriyas. There is a yoga philosophy to quiet the mind. But I haven't seen any yogi with a quiet mind or with no reactivity. In fact, most yogis, most swamis, most gurus are very reactive. But there's a difference. The difference between the yogi and an ordinary person, quote unquote ordinary person, is that the yogi will at some point drop it. The guru, the master, or let's say sage, let's use a better word. Instead of guru, we use the word sage. Sage is not the one who has accomplished something, but sage is one who has dropped everything and lives with understanding. And what is that understanding? Understanding is that there is no separation with anything. This life is an interconnected whole and there is no separation with anything. So once that is understood, the sage may get angry in the moment, may react in the moment, and that reaction can cause even damage to the other person or property or thing. But that said, the sage does not create any shame or guilt for his action, because sage knows that it is not his action. Sage knows that there are innumerable forces that are acting on the body-mind organism, and he cannot figure them out. He is not trying to solve anything. He has completely accepted that this is beyond me. So sage completely accepts that. Now, that being said, the sage can truly apologize for any hurtful action that he or she may have caused to the other. The sage may even feel sad for a while. There may be a buildup of charge in the sage for a while. But the charge does not stay for long. It does not stay for long in the yogis. It does not stay for long in the people of understanding. They drop it just like this, by bringing their attention here, simply here. And here is everything that is happening. There is nothing happening there. It's all here, and it's beautiful. Even the reactions, the reactivity, or whatever we say is happening is beauty, is radiant, is love. But one cannot recognize that love with a personal eye. That love can only be recognized with the God's eye. And God's eye is not limited. God's eye does not have filtered perception. God's eye has direct perception of things the way they are. In the God's eye, everything is one movement. There is no separate movement anywhere in that vision. It is a total vision. And that vision is accessible right here, right now. There is no teacher, no guru, no master who is going to tell you how to go there. If a master is telling you how to go there, they are just delaying. You are home right now. All you have done is you have forgotten that key is with you and you are here. And you are looking for the key everywhere. You are looking for keys in the ashram, in the gurus, with the sages. You want to seek company of sages to gain the understanding, whereas the sages are saying, just go within. The kingdom of heaven is here and now. It is your own beingness. It is your own aliveness. It is your own isness. It is your own amness. The problem with us is that we have given too much weight to the mind. And we have started believing that mind is all there is. So we are using something limited to explore something that is vast, that is much bigger. How can something of limited consciousness know the vastness? When that tool gives up, the tool that is limited, you cannot point a torch in the sky at night, hope to see the sun. It's not going to happen. The sun shines with its own light. It rises with its own light and illumines everything. And then you see the sun. You can try with your torch, point it in the sky and try to look for the sun. You aren't going to see the sun. The sun shined within you as I am. Let go of the analysis and you will see it is right here. So this is a short message I wanted to share with all of you. Thank you for your love and support. Wish you a great day.